stage lights are burning brighter, tongue-tied and ready to fold. The stage lights are burning brighter, tongue-tied and ready to fold.
You have exactly 3 seconds, 3, to keep someone from skipping your track. What if your mix didn't just sound good, but actually felt impossible to skip? Today, we're going to mix and master a full song using only the Safari Pedals All Access subscription. And honestly, this bundle has got everything from saturation, EQ, compression, reverb, mastering limiters. But what really sets it apart is that these tools are made from producers and musicians, not just coders and tech dudes. They're fun, vibey, and really inspiring. In this video, I promise you, you're gonna learn a ton of techniques for creating a mix that people listen to on repeat. Now, if this video delivers on that promise, I just ask that you guys show some love in the comments and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Now, if you're new here, I'm Bradley Denniston. I've contributed to Grammy-nominated projects, earned platinum records, and worked on blockbuster films that have grossed over $3 billion in just box office sales. But enough about me, let's dive right into this mix. There are no plugins on this mix whatsoever, as you can see. I've bypassed everything. I've just killed the whole mix completely. But I have leveled and balanced things out, and I've given myself some headroom, okay? So we don't want the master bus clipping out at like 6 dB over, going red, etc. So I have things panned, I have my guitars in red, I have my bass in yellow, I have all these brown regions and tracks. These are all my drums, so I'm gonna put them all together. And then we have the vocals in this kind of pink color. Okay, so this is and everything's labeled. It's all good to go. And then it's also routed. Some things aren't routed, but I'll route those along the way with you and show you how I do that. But all the drums go into a drum mix bus, right? And then we have all these horns, which are the kind of horn section. These are all purple. All right, so let's listen to the loudest part of the mix. And then we're gonna start working on the master bus so we can do this top-down mixing. Great. Now, what I'm hearing right away is pretty mid-heavy. I want a little bit more low sub stuff, and I want more high stuff, right? The first thing we want to do on the master bus is not to just start throwing a bunch of plugins on it and making it sound incredibly awesome, okay? That is not the point of top-down mixing. Top-down mixing is to make sure that we have a starting point on the master bus so that we're doing something overall so we don't have to do as much to the individual elements, and so that we can work faster and more efficiently. Especially when you're doing music for TV, commercials, film, like I've done for most of my career. You have to work fast and you have to be able to pop out revision rounds. And when you're working with artists, right, they might do like 11 rounds of revisions on a mix or a master or something you're producing with them. You want to be able to recall it really quickly. So here we go. So here's the output, and on the master bus, the first thing I'm going to put on the master bus is just some compression and some glue. We're not thinking compression in the realm of like, let's get like 10 dB of compression going and just get it really loud. I'm thinking more just glue it together, okay, and get it to be one cohesive unit. And for that, I'm going to use the Sun Bear. The Sun Bear bus compressor is really, really nice for this. And it also has a bunch of different things. So we have saturation from tape to tube. I like it right in the middle, but I typically like the tube sound a little bit better. If you want something a little bit more rounded on the top, I'd go for the tape. But I like it right in the middle, or sometimes skewing just a touch to the tube, especially for this type of style. You have a clipper. I'm going to take that off. That's on by default. I'm going to turn on oversampling because we're on the master bus. We want to make sure that when we make that bounce, we don't have any surprises. We don't have any distortion, any clicks, you know, weirdness going on from aliasing, right? So because this is introducing saturation and, you know, it can bring up artifacts in your bounce. So the oversampling will help mitigate that. So now we have auto gain as well. If you want to, you can use that. Go for it. I'm not going to. Right now, what I'm going to do is set this compressor so it's giving me like 1 to 2 dB of compression, maybe. We're just tickling the tops. So what we need to set really is the attack ratio release threshold. These are the things we're concerned with. So let's start to get us just a touch on the transients. All right, so a little tip for you guys when you're setting your master bus compressor. Now, because it's the first thing in my chain, I want this to be a soft, gluey compression. And to do that, you probably want your release pretty long to start. By the end of the mix, we'd probably be a lot faster with the release, just to get more gain out of it and more perceived loudness. Because really, when you take the release down really fast, you're not really compressing at all. It's like, okay, so I got my attack really long at 214, and then I got my release at 40. So it's not attacking and it's not releasing, which means you're just passing your audio through the plugin, which is, you know, you're probably hearing the saturation and some volume change and you're going, this sounds way better. So don't trick yourself. We still want to compress. All right. So we're going to set our attack at around 200 milliseconds. I think that works really nicely. And our release will be around 150 or so. And I'm looking at the tops here and the peaks and watching it as it's compressing. We're just trying to ride a wave. Now I'm going to adjust my threshold and then my input and output gain. Beautiful. Doing exactly what I want it to do. Just giving it a little bit of glue. This is just doing a little rap, you know? Doing exactly what I wanted to do, which is giving it some glue. Sun Bear, baby. All right, so that's it. That's the Sun Bear. Now, let's get some EQ going. I want a little bit more excitement out of the tops. I want a little bit more low. Okay. Now, Sub Bowl Machine is an amazing plugin for the low stuff, but I'm going to use something that I can just control both. So for any EQ, you have Camel Strip and Dragon EQ. Right? These are in the Safari bundle. So you got this guy, which is low, mid, high, and then you have the different frequencies. And then you also have drive on all those frequencies with a mid or side. So you can go skew towards mid or side and output. Awesome. Really, really great EQ. But I'm going to go for the second option here, which is going to be the Camel Strip. And the Camel Strip is cool because, for me, because I really love an EQ P1A style Pultec EQ on my master bus. I just like it. Just sounds really, really beautiful. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn off the effects. I'm not going to drown our master bus in reverb, even though, you know, some of y'all might do that and might think it's cool. I'm not a huge fan of it. I'm going to turn the compressor off and we're just focusing on the EQ. You also have an input drive. We can mess around with that, but I'm going to turn the oversampling on again because we're on the master bus. So let's mess around, give it a little smiley face curve. Sounding really cool. It's really bringing those guitars out. So something we'll have to address, but let's also mess around with this width. This is some secret sauce specialty here. Check this out. Woo! That is sexy. That's some sexy stuff right there. A little note for you guys. Because the next plugin I'm going to bring up is actually included in this package it's just included. Like you get this for free with the subscription, the BX Digital Limiter, the True Peak Limiter. This is a super professional tool and a great addition to the subscription because you think a lot of the times when you get subscriptions, you're like, well, do they have like mastering tools and stuff? Yes, here you go. Bada bam. Right? And this is awesome. I really, really like this plugin. I've used it a few times before, but just listen. All right. First thing, the XL. I'm just going to turn the XL up just so you can hear it. Like that is doing some work for us, right? That is, to my ear, sounds like parallel compression limiting that is just clean and just impactful. It thickens out the mix, pushes forward the mids, the middle. It kind of evens everything out, right? So this is a great addition to this package, but it's also a great addition to our master bus right now because as we widen this out, we kind of get this weird like, oh, the sides are getting louder than the middle, and we don't want that. So when we use this XL, we all of a sudden get that parallel compression thing that happens where the middle starts to meet the sides again. And this just really magic. And also we're getting that level, that depth, just sounds cool. Sounds freaking awesome. Included in the package. So with the subscription, you're getting this and you're getting some additional plugins. And you also get a license for any of the Safari plugins. One of them, perpetual license every year with this subscription. So that's like worth it just for that. So now we're going to tweak this a little bit. I'm going to set the ceiling here because that's all we're really trying to do here. We're not trying to go crazy with limiting and make this sound like a master. We haven't even mixed it yet. right? So we're going to set the XL to just a little bit, right? We're not going to go crazy with that either. We'll go 70 and the ceiling will go 0.04. I know XL at 70 is probably pretty crazy too, but it's just giving us a little bit of work so we don't have to do a ton of work on the individual elements, okay? So now let's just hear these plugins bypassed in and out. Amazing starting point. And in the next section, let's start to attack the mix subgroups. So we're going to go into the drums, the vocals, the guitars, and we're going to get those all sounding really nicely, feeding into this master bus. And this is what top-down mixing is all about. Hope you guys are enjoying this so far. If you are, hit that like button and let's move on. All right, our next step in this mix is to start to work on the subgroups. So we've got the master bus. Let's go to the subgroups. And the first subgroup I'm going to work on are the drums. The drums are the foundation to any good mix, right? We're setting the soundstage for the full band, the mix itself with the drums, always, all right? Most genres are gonna be drum dependent, whether that's hip hop, R&B, pop, rock, all of it. It's just drums, right? So we're going to set this up on the drum mix bus. Here's what we got so far with our drums, just balanced out. All right, and my favorite thing to start with on drums is not to just start working on the drum mix bus, but sometimes it's just to do some parallel stuff, okay? So I have bus 2 going here, from the toms to the Chungus, or it looks like I've muted the Chungus and the Hot Tato mic. So these are already kind of parallel mics. Chungus and Hot Tato are like a microphone sitting by the crotch of the drummer that are compressed really heavy that you kind of blend into the kit. So those are not going to this end. But then we got the snare. We have the mono overheads are not going to the drum comp. So this is like a parallel compression thing, right? And on this parallel compression thing that I'm sending some of these mics from the drum kit to, I'm going to pop on this plugin that's included with the bundle, which is called the Smasher from Pulsar Audio. And Pulsar makes some really cool plugins as well, so check them out. But this comes with the bundle, with your subscription for the Safari bundle, and this is worth price of admission itself. Incredible, all buttons in, 1176 blue stripe compressor that's just amazing for parallel stuff. So automatically it's not blended at 100% on the mix. So I'm going to go 100% and I'm going to push the input and the output, and we're going to just kind of dial it in for this parallel compression sound. All right, so let's solo the drum, this parallel compressor, just so you can hear just what this is doing. Incredible, right? So the 1176, the FET compressor, is so fast. It's in milliseconds. So you're hearing it attack so fast that it's just bringing up the low-level information on the tail end. It's not bringing up the punch of the drums. And that's why we use these styles of compression, because we don't want more punch. If we want more punch, we do that on the drum mix bus, on the individual drums, the kick, the snare itself. But if we want this thickness, right, this thickness and this mid-range push, then we use parallel compression with a FET because it's so fast on the attack. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna leave it on that, and we're gonna blend it into the kit here. So we have the drum mix. This is just the drums, and then the drum parallel compressor. I'm gonna bring it all the way down, and then I'm gonna blend it into the mix so you can hear what it's doing to the drums. Get those drums nice and beefy, right? Those are some beefy drums right there. Okay, so another thing I like to do personally on the parallel, like a drum parallel compression sort of thing, is throw a little EQ on it just so I can do a little bit of cleanup, because sometimes the low end gets really crazy. You know, I really want this for the mid. I want like that mid drive and that push. So I'm going to take the lows down just a touch, low gain, and I'm going to go to like where you would get like the low body of the kick drum, which will be probably around 80 hertz on this one. It could be 80 to like 40, right? But 80 to 60 is usually where you're going to find that part of the kick drum. The woo, 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 right? The body of the kick drum, okay? The low body. So I'm going to just kind of take that down just a touch. And then the mid range, let's actually use this mid drive and let's push a little bit of the like 1K area. Like you could even go to like 900, right? Somewhere around here, we'll just kind of drive that a little bit. Check it out. See how it just like makes the snare drum really sound like, oh, here's the snare drum. Like that's what we're really looking for with this. And this might be too much and we'll kind of blend it back and mess with it as we mix. But I really like what it's doing. And if I pop it in the mix, let's just put it all in the mix now and hear what's going on with the drums now. All right, so that parallel drum, that smasher with the Dragon EQ, it's like insanely good. It's like, where did the drums go when I bypass it? They're gone. So that's what I'm going to leave on for my parallel processing. Now let's hit this drum mix bus. The drum mix bus is going to be pretty easy for me because the Rabbit Tape does heavy lifting on this. Rabbit Tape is an incredible plugin for drums, bass, guitars, vocals, pretty much anything that you want that tape saturation, that really nice drive and grit from. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the grit all the way down. We're going to turn off wow and flutter because we don't really want that for this style of record. This is kind of like indie rock. We just want it to be pretty direct and driven. And we're going to mess with the input and the output first. And then we can maybe use some grit if we, if we're happy, if we're not happy, if we are happy, I don't know. We'll decide. All right, so let's drive this where the snare drums should start hitting into the red. That's how I usually work with tape. I think most people would agree. Yeah, so like when it's rolling the snare, it's okay for the red to be pinned, right? But I'm going to give myself just a little more headroom. And then we're going to blend back the output and we're going to try to, we'll A-B this and make sure that it's working. And then I'm going to give it a little bit of width on the drums. Check it out. That is so good. And the drum sounds so good with this plugin on it. I can't understand like how they do this. This is kind of like a magic thing to me. I'm like, this sounds like tape. And I've used plenty of tape machines in my career. I'm like, that's tape. If I close my eyes, I was in a studio like with a bunch of tape machines and someone was like, okay, which one's tape? Which one's a plugin? I'd be like, no clue, dude. This sounds like tape to me. All right, so we can also blend this back and parallel it. One thing I'd say is if you're using wow or flutter on this, don't blend it back. But how we have it, this is great. You could parallel it, but let's try the grit here. I just am curious what this can do. I mean, that's sounding really good to me. All right, so now with the Rabbit Tape, how it is, I think it's great. I didn't want to do the grit. It kind of thinned out the drums a little bit. And I like them fat and full and thick and all that good stuff. I like that gooey. I might take the kick drum down a little bit. And usually I'll do like the kick out because it's going to have more low end to it. Now let's follow it up with a Dragon EQ as well. And we're just going to do a little bit of EQing here. On the low frequency stuff, I like to do like go down to this like 50 or even 40 area. And because this isn't like hip hop, like trap kind of stuff, we're just going to kind of bring this down a little bit. So we'll just go boop, boop. We'll just tuck it, And then on the mid gain, this is where I like to go around the 500 area because it can sound like really papery, especially as you start bringing all the gain up. And I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to peak out this mid area so you can hear what frequency I'm hearing. That kind of like papery, cardboardy stuff. I don't necessarily like that very much, but when I bring that drive up, it kind of sounds cool. So I'm wondering if I go up to like 700 or so, there's something there, that I'm missing in the drums. It's going to give them some more clarity. Yeah, I don't really like it. I think the drums sound really good how they are without this EQ. So what I'm going to do is just kind of like leave the low stuff down. And then I'm going to just kind of top off, just kind of shelf down, a little bit of this stuff. Okay, so the real top stuff, like 15, just kind of bring it down, just a touch. It's not going to be much, but we're playing housekeeping here. We're going to bring the lows down, bring the highs down, keep the mid where it is. We don't even need it on. You can turn it off if you want to. But here's where I'm at right now. Yeah, so the rabbit tape is kind of bringing that frequency out anyway. So it's allowing the drums to be heard a little bit better in the mix. You know, that the mid-range stuff going on. So I'm good here with all this. I might want to actually just kind of keep that low end off, and we're just going to roll the tops off with this. So not much, but we're doing a little mid drive here, which I am liking. I might want to A/B this and make sure I like it, but let's check it out. Yeah, just a touch of it. It does push the drums forward, which starts to get into the vocals. So just be really careful with that. But I do like how the drums are like feeling much more alive now. Okay, last thing I'm going to follow this up with on the drum mix. The last thing is going to be the Lion Master. And the Lion Master, I'm just going to be pretty much using for peak, you know, true peak limiting here. Okay, so all we're trying to do here is just give it a little bit of limiting, and we might mess around with the saturation, but you know, who knows? I'm not going to really do any oversampling because I don't want to get into latency issues on the drum mix bus, and then the other mix bus is getting weird, right? So let's leave this how it is, and let's see what we can do here. All right, so you see what we did there? We're pretty much putting a limiter, a ceiling on the drums here at -0.4, right? And we're doing a little bit of gain here, so 2.2 dB of gain on our limiting. And now let's just blend in a little bit of the saturation and width to see what we can get out of this Lion Master on the drums. That's sounding great to me. I really like the sound of that with all this together. Let's bypass these plugins and everything we've done here. So drum parallel compression and the 3 plugins on the drum mix bus, in and out. Here's before. We got a lot of snap out of that snare drum. And now let's start working on the other subgroups. Vocals. Let's get into the vocals because obviously you want to get the vocals into the mix like ASAP. You got drums, you got the bass, you got the foundation of the mix, right? You want to get the vocals in ASAP. And then you want to wrap all the instruments around it. That's just usually how I mix a record. It's like, get the foundation, pop the vocals in, that's where it's at. Now let's get all the candy and the rhythm and all that stuff around the solid foundations. All right, so here we go. We got vocals, they're all going to bus 4, which is going to go to the vocal mix bus. Now, to make this easier, I'm going to click and drag the vocal mix bus closer to the vocals. And another cool thing about this subscription is that I have all of the tuned vocal stuff included with this subscription. So you got tuned reverb, tuned vocal chain, tuned vocal tune, right? So the vocal chain is where I'm going to start on the Vox mix bus, and we have saturation, compression, we have pretty much everything we need for vocals here. And then this blend knob, so we can do everything in parallel if we want. Another thing I really love on vocals from the Safari stuff is this new Cassette Bunny. So Cassette Bunny is going to give us this really cool drive that I just absolutely love. It's perfect for vocals. I think it just kind of pushes the mid exactly how you want. And because this is kind of like an alt rock vibe, this is the sound that I really like and what I'm looking for. And that's one of the things I'd say that Safari pedals, like this bundle and all their stuff, really works great on, is the mid-range and the drive and the distortion, the saturation algorithms they use. They're just incredible. They sound so musical, so much fun to use. So let's start with a little bit of compression, and I'm going to bypass the cassette for now. And we're going to just compress, and we're just going to give an overall kind of EQ and width to the vocals here.
The stage lights are burning brighter, tongue-tied and ready to fall. All eyes are staring harder. It's all a party show. The stage lights are burning
Great, that's sounding really good to me. Like right out the box, I'm like, yeah, that's great. So I'm gonna give this back this 1 dB of gain reduction that it had, and let's hear it again.
The stage lights are burning brighter, tongue-tied and ready to fall. All eyes are staring harder.
Great, it's getting really controlled and in your face now, right? It sounds a little bit over compressed, to be honest, for me. So I'm gonna back off the compression, and now let's pop on the cassette bunny, and we're just gonna drive this, and check this out. Probably use the studio setting, but let's check both.
The stage lights are burning brighter, tongue-tied and ready to fall. All eyes are staring harder.
I mean, okay. You know, like I did not do much at all, and I feel like the vocals are good to go. Now it's a matter of sweetening, so let's get some reverb going, and even just like a good delay, you know, like a good splash delay, slappy kind of thing going on would be awesome. So we have a send going to bus 5, which is like a widener send effect that I usually do for vocals, and just kind of widens the middle, and we can use this as our send here. We'll turn it on. This is taking the full vocal mix and we're sending it to bus 5 so you can understand what's going on here. And on here, let's just try some stuff to widen it out a little bit. And one of the things you could use for widening is like a chorus effect. You could use a reverb, of course, you know. You could use all sorts of stuff to widen things, but what we're going to try and do is use the, I don't know, there's so many options here. I'm like, we could try all sorts of cool stuff. For now, let's just give this a little bit of reverb here. Let's go with the Rhino reverb here. Okay, so this is kind of a classic vibe here. So I'm gonna just kind of bring this 100%, and I like the width like down on this one. And then the filter, as you bring this up, it's gonna sound more old school, like filtered reverb, right? But this Rhino verb is really good. I'm gonna go 100% on the blend too, because remember we're sending it to that, and then we'll bring it up, and then we'll kind of like tuck it into the mix here.
The stage lights are burning brighter, tongue-tied and ready to fall. All eyes are staring harder. Ha! Solid party show.
Okay, that's a vibe for sure, but it's not getting enough gas. So right after this, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit it with some compression. I'm gonna take the width off. I don't want the width for this. I'm gonna use this in conjunction with a reverb so we can get some depth out of this, because you can hear it's kind of like slappy, like a spring kind of vibe. But then we're gonna get like a nice lush verb with the flamenco verb, and then we'll kind of have these two blended. But the next thing I want to do is I'm going to add a compressor here with the Sun Bear. I'm just going to compress this so we can bring this up pretty much is what I'm going to try and do.
The stage lights are burning brighter, tongue-tied and ready to fall. All eyes are staring harder. Ha! Solid party show. All eyes are staring harder.
That's awesome. And you notice what it's doing with the vocals. It's making them much more important in the mix, right? A lot of the times we think in EQ and we think like, oh, EQ compression, we think reverb, whatever. Like think about how it makes you feel. Like what happened to the vocals? Oh, they just sound more important. That's it. Like I'm gonna bypass this in and out just so you can really understand what I'm talking about.
The stage lights are burning brighter, tongue-tied and ready to fall. All eyes are staring harder.
It's like really dry and just kind of like someone's talking to you, like they're talking in your face, to like, whoa, it opens up. Now it's more important. We're on a stage. Like as I'm saying, stage lights are getting brighter. It's like, whoa, the stage is starting to open up, right? That's all we're doing. Now we want like a reverb that's going to give us more width. Okay, so let's take this and let's send it to a bus 6, right? It looks like bus 6 isn't being used. So we'll go boom, 100%. I just always go, okay, Vox verb 2. And then we're going to bring this over here so we can have it close to our vocals. And now on this one, we're going to do the flamenco. Flamenco. This is such a good reverb. Like I can't stress it enough. So I'm going to go in here and I'm actually just going to grab a roomy vocals, right? Just going to start with something and make sure it's on 100% on the blend, because we are sending it, and this is going to be a return. And let's also color it. It's hot pink so we know. And then let's blend this into the vocal mix.
The stage lights are burning brighter, tongue-tied and ready to fall. All eyes are staring harder.
I literally don't even want to touch that. I'm like, this is great. This is a perfect Roomy Vocals preset. Thank you. Who made this? Who knows? But good job. Sounds awesome. And the time on this is 744 milliseconds. So you can tell like the Flamingo Verb, it wants to be a little bit shorter and it feels still pretty damn long. And then the width is not even that high up, 39%, and it feels so massive and beautiful. So this is just a great vocal reverb, great reverb for pretty much anything. So now we have the vocal mix, we have the cassette, we have the Flamingo Verb, the Rhino, the Sun Bear. Okay, so now let's just bypass all of this and hear where the vocals came to, like, because we're going to A-B this. I think it's pretty dramatic. We're going to find out. All right. Bypass, A-B, here comes. Here's before.
The stage lights are burning brighter, tongue-tied and ready to fold. All eyes are staring harder. It's all a part of the show. The stage lights are burning brighter, tongue-tied and ready to fold. All eyes are staring harder. It's all a part of the show.
Sick. I love it. So we have some good room, some good space. Vocals got a lot bigger. They sound more in the record and more part of the record now. And I'm just going to show you, I did something off camera for the actual horns. On the horn mix, I have the cassette Bunny, which is incredible for horns. I put it on studio, drove it a little bit, and then I followed it with the Rhino reverb. And this is before and after on the horns. Okay, so here's the horn mix.
It's all a part of the show. Oh, yeah. The stage lights are burning brighter.
I mean, this mix is really coming together, right? It's not many moves, but they're subtle and they're beautiful and harmonically pleasing. And now let's just get to our kind of final touches. I'm going to go to the guitars. We're going to use some amps. We're going to dial in some tones and we're going to just get this mix really, really beautiful. All right, let's go. For the final section of the video, we're going to be focusing on the guitar and the bass, right? And if you've made it this far, you've just unlocked this whole template. All right. All you need to do to get this template is let me know in the comments which of these plugins, which of these tips has been the most helpful to you and which one do you like the most, right? Just let me know in the comments and also put your email there on that comment as well. So I'll know you saw this part and I can send you this template. And this template will have everything in here. It'll have all the mix moves, all the presets, everything all ready to go, even all my audio stems. Okay, so drop it in the comments and let's dive into the electric guitars. So we have electric guitars and we have acoustic guitars. So there are all these guitars here, and let's just kind of solo these and listen to them in different parts of the songs. All right, so we got a lot of rhythm. There's a lot of rhythm, stompy, really fun. The electric guitars, what I'm going to focus on here is these two. And we have a Tele and a Jaguar, and we have a left-right, okay? Something really cool, again, about the Safari Pedals subscription is we have guitar amps now, which are really, really vibey. I think actually most of their plugins are vibey. That's kind of what keeps you inspired throughout the process of mixing and producing. And I actually use their plugins a lot in production because I just think like, oh, this is super vibey. I want to mess with this, right? So we have the Silver Llama amp, and then we also have the Panda, the Twin Panda. I really like the Twin Panda and the Silver Llama, and I sometimes use them in like a serial chain. So like I'll use them back to back, which means I'll take the Twin Panda and then feed it into the Llama. I know, crazy, huh? So I'll go boom, boom. And you're like, dude, that's crazy, dude. Don't do it, man. 2 amps in one. Do this all the time. And I think it sounds really vibey. But of course, you got to set it up right. So first thing I'm going to do is just kind of tweak this Twin Panda. And let's go to a preset just so that we can like get started somewhere. So guitar chopper, bright guitars, bright electric lead. I'm looking for like a rhythm, you know, Soul Evo springy guitar. This sounds kind of cool. Shiny springy guitar. Let's just hear this. You see what I'm saying though? Like I just literally turned on the Silver Llama right after the Twin Panda and I get this really vibey sound. It sounds really cool. I don't know if any of you have tried that, but just like feeding one into the other. And you might want to switch them up too. Like, so these are these two back to back and it's like really that simple for me with these guitars because they tracked DI pretty well. But there it is, like Twin Panda directly into the Silver Llama. And now listen to these rhythm guitars left and right. Sound awesome. Like that's exactly it. Okay, so you might have a different taste than me. You might want these to be a little spankier at the 4K, 5K area. You might want them to be a little bit more chunky and a little bit more driven. Fine, do whatever you want to do, right? But I'm showing you what I would do with my song. Right, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to kind of crank the gain a little bit on the Silver Llama just to get a little bit of dirt. Oh, that's amazing. So all I did was bring up the spring reverb just a touch. I'm going to bring that down just a little bit more. And then brought up the gain. And now what I'm going to do is just option drag this over to the other one. And now let's listen. That's sick. That's super, super dope. So for the acoustic guitars, now we have these acoustics that are really wide and let's just hear them soloed. Okay, cool. They sound a little boomy to me, right? In the low mids. So I want to clean up that area and then I want to get them kind of compressed and I want them brighter. Like I want them to sound like a rhythm instrument, like hi-hats would sound, you know, like they're part of the groove. They're not to be like really heard, if that makes sense. Like they're not like a really presented instrument. They're just there to hold down the groove. So what I want to happen is these guitars, these acoustics to work with the electrics really well, like blend. You see what I'm saying? And like right now, the acoustics are just like way too dull and they're just like not doing it. So let's go in and let's find something that'll help us just kind of get that cut going. Yeah, probably we're just going to end up doing some EQ and stuff. So let's try just using the Camel Strip and doing some shaving and shaping. 1073 EQ is going to be incredible on acoustic guitars. And then let's get rid of the gate and let's compress for sure. And let's do a 2A. LA 2A style compression on acoustic guitars is amazing, right? Because it's a little bit slower than 1176 FET compression, but it has a little bit of brightness because of the tube. So we'll use this. We won't crank it yet, but we'll use that. And then we might want to use a little bit of plate reverb. So we'll leave that on and let's boost the highs a little bit and the mids, we'll leave it. And then we'll bring the lows down, right? And then let's compress. Let's see what we got here. That's sounding really nice to me. Now let's copy that over and let's bring both of these up into the mix. So all we really need to do now is just kind of get the level right on these.
The stage lights are burning brighter, tongue-tied and ready to fold.
That's sounding really good to me. So now I want to take all of these acoustics and everything, and we're just going to copy these over because I think this amazing chain right here with the camel strip. Works really well. And then the Telly and Jag stuff, we're just going to do the same thing. I'm just going to grab these. I'm going to go boop and this one here. And then we're going to have all of our guitars ready to go. And then we're going to take all these guitars and we're going to bring them to a guitar mix bus. Okay, so all these going out stereo out, we're going to go to bus 9, right? Boop. And we're going to go here, grab bus 9 here, drag it over. And this is going to be our guitar mix bus. And on the mix bus here, let's color it red, just so we know that it's the mix. And then we're going to pop on this one, I think the Lion Master is really good for guitars here. We're going to widen this out a little bit. We're going to bring up some high end, just a touch of high end. And then we're going to, we don't need to put on the limiter or anything right now. The crossover, I want to go like around like 4 or so. And then I want to give it a little bit of saturation and we're going to take down the low frequency.
The stage lights are burning brighter, tongue-tied and ready to fall. All eyes are staring harder. The stage lights are burning brighter, tongue-tied and ready to fall. All eyes are staring harder. It's all a
Hell yeah, that is sick as hell. So before the Lion Master, just to carve out just a little bit of space for that vocal, I want to pop an EQ here, okay? So we're going to put in the Dragon EQ, and we're going to go into the mids here, and we're just going to find that vocal range, which is usually, I'd say the middle of the vocal is going to be 1K to 1500, right? So go somewhere around here, and then we're going to just duck that, just a touch. Right? So we can leave room for the vocal. And if you want, you could put a little high drive into the guitars if you wanted to, right? Like up at the, like the sparkly area, like maybe 6K or so. You could go, okay, let's drive that just a touch, right? Because that's always cool on guitars. I love these drive sliders. This is freaking awesome. And then the low gain, we'll bring these down and we'll bring that down like around that 100 area. Because I feel like that's where the bass and the kick and all that stuff is really competing. So we don't want to take up that area. All right, so there we go. Let's hear it. Awesome, like that. That is so good. All right, now let's put it in the mix.
The stage lights are burning brighter, tongue-tied and ready to fall. All eyes are staring harder. It's all a party show.
All right, you hear the big difference, right? Because we get to the chorus and you're like, where'd the guitars go? Because these guitars don't have the stuff all on them, right? So we just have like, we haven't really set those up. You can also see that they're down in volume. So the acoustics here are pretty loud, and then we get here and we just need to bring these all up pretty much. I think that's kind of what I'm hearing is like, okay, we need more volume on the guitars here. Whoop, whoop, and bada bing. Now let's pop these in.
It's all a party show. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Hey, life, yeah. Come and get it. On my way. I'm betting on the high.
Right? So automatically I'm like, okay, that's too aggressive, kind of tinny sounding for this part of the song. We want these to be more like, you know, like driven, thick, right? Not this kind of springy kind of tone. So what I'm gonna do here is drive these, and I'm gonna take the spring down, and what do we got here? Oh, a slap, sick. We could turn that slap up. Let's just kind of mess with this. Let's do that, and then we're gonna copy this one. So this is the llama. You ever been spit on by a llama? Much better, right? Those really good amps. Like, I am surprised. I have not messed with these amps much. And here's before and after on the amps. That is literally exactly what's in my head when I'm making this record. Indie rock guitar. That's it right there. That is the tone. Okay. And that's just me doing these two amps back to back, going through bus 9, which then has the Dragon and the Lion Master. That's it. That's all I'm doing. I could actually go a little bit harder on this limiter, and I'm actually going to turn the true peak on as well. All right, so now we have everything set up. Let's go to the master bus and let's do a little bit more tweaking to finalize this mix, and then I'll give you guys a nice before and after of how far we've come. Remember, I have the links in the description, and if you guys want this full template, this mixing template, you know what to do. You got to go back in the video. You remember, right? Like, all you got to do, drop your comment, which is your favorite plugin, which is the favorite tip, technique you got out of this video, and leave your email so I know, you know, that's what you're looking for. All right, and I'll hit you. Okay, so here's where we're at, and I'm going to go to the master bus, and we're going to do just a little bit more tweaking on the limiter. Now we're going to try and get like, we're going to push this, you know what I'm saying? So this is where we have a little bit more fun with getting the extra dB out of here, you know, probably get like extra, yeah, 2 to 3 dB, honestly.
The stage lights are burning brighter, tongue-tied and ready to foam. All eyes are staring harder. It's all a party show. The stage lights are burning brighter, tongue-tied and ready to foam.
Wow, you hear what the Fairchild is doing to the low end? It's like making it massive. Check it out. I'm just going to turn the compressor on and off.
The stage lights are burning brighter, tongue-tied and ready to foam. All eyes are staring harder. It's all a party show.
That's sick. I actually really like that. So I can take down this low end boost. I got the high end, I think, a little too high here. And now let's mess around with this stuff. And I'm also going to blend this back just to see what happens.
The stage lights are burning brighter, tongue-tied and ready to foam. All eyes are staring harder.
All right, I think this is sounding pretty damn good. So now let's A/B these different parts with everything we've done so far, right? I'm just going to bypass every single plugin and give you a before and after. So this is the final call. Did I do a good job? Did I make this sound really good just using the Safari Pedals subscription? Or did I completely destroy it? You guys let me know in the comments. All right, here it is. Before.
The stage lights are burning brighter, tongue-tied and ready to foam. All eyes are staring harder. It's all a party show. The stage lights are burning brighter, tongue-tied and ready to foam. All eyes are staring harder. It's all a party show.
All right, you guys, let me know in the comments what you think. This is the Safari subscription. If you guys want it, grab it in the description. And also, a couple other things about this. You do get to vote on the latest plugins that they're making. So that's really dope. You get invited to a Discord channel. It's a very cool subscription. It's not just like, hey, you pay monthly and we're going to screw you over, right? This is actually like a pretty legit subscription where you're getting a bunch of freebies, you're getting perpetual licenses, you're getting a Discord, you're voting on the new plugins. It's a community thing, and it's really, really cool. I love these guys. They're making amazing stuff. I know them personally, and they're just great people. So definitely support. And if you like the video, support the video. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.